Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Tonight we are making lamb and rice stuffed capsicum with basil oil. It sounds fancy, but it's going to be pretty easy. This is what we need. You're also going to need your oven on 160 fan forced or 180 regular, a frying pan to fry the mince and stuff that's going inside the capsicums, and a roasting tray. So come on in and I'll show you what I've been up to. Alrighty, check out our ingredients here. So first of all, with your capsicums, you're going to cut the top off. And if you've ever actually cut the capsicum off this way, you will notice that you've got your seeds and stuff. Scoop it all out so it looks like a cup. Hang on to the lid. You'll see why when we get to it. So we've popped 4 in there. If you can, it was hard for me because I didn't specify, try and get some that will actually stand up on their own, as opposed to Mr. Leany over here. He has to lean a little bit. But it's all good. If you get something deep enough, they'll lean just fine. Alright, also choose between olive oil or vegetable oil. Olive oil, as you know, is a lot more expensive than vegetable oil. So I've gone with vegetable oil because we need a tablespoon, plus a tablespoon, and half a cup. So that's a lot of olive oil if you're going to use olive oil. So I've gone with veggie oil. 1 medium red onion thinly sliced, so I've sliced it up like that. 2 cloves of garlic. We haven't crushed them today, we've chopped them. 200 grams of lamb mince. I think I've got a little bit more than 200 grams. That's been in my freezer, but it should be okay. 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. Half a cup of medium grain or arborio rice. With things like this, I like arborio rice because it just tastes better than your normal rice. But each to their own, whichever one you want to use. 2 medium tomatoes chopped up. You don't need to de-seed or skin or whatever them, so that's easy enough. 1/4 cup of chopped flat leaf parsley. This was in the freezer. I've managed to chop it up, which was awesome because that actually got rid of a small packet out of the freezer, so I'm glad about that. 1 cup of firmly packed basil leaves. My delicate little basil plant that sits on my windowsill does not have a cup of basil leaves, so I ordered some, and I got the biggest bunch of basil ever. That is huge. So we're going to pick those. We need those for later for when we do the oil. Also serve with salad, whatever salad you like. You can either do just mixed salad leaves on the side or make up a little bit of a salad. It will serve 4, obviously 1 capsicum each. And you're also going to need some foil. So now that you know what we're doing, let's get to it. Alright, so as I mentioned, oven needs to be on 160 or 180. I've put mine on 160. These are going to cook for an hour, so they're a good thing to get on early-ish in the day, and then while they're cooking you can get other stuff done and you make your salad. So once you've got your tops cut off and kept the lids for them, the next thing you need to do is heat some of the oil in the frying pan. So let's go over and do that. As you know, I always like to spray my frying pan, so this will be no different today. Alright. In we come. Whoops. Alright. The stand didn't want to go where I wanted it to go. Alright, give it a spray. Once again, as always I say, you will thank me later when you need to wash up said frying pan. Alright, pop in a tablespoon of veggie oil. Grab yourself a stirring stick. They always come in handy. Now I'm using more vegetable oil, so there's no point in putting that in the sink because I'll just have to dirty another one otherwise. Okay, what are we cooking? We're cooking the onion for 5 minutes or until soft. So if you sliced it nice and thin, it will look something similar to that. Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes and I'll show you how we're going. Okay, so your onion should be starting to look like that. So add that garlic. That is two very small ones. So we'll say 2 1/4 in there. And then finally your lamb mince. I'm pretty sure this is 250 grams, but that's okay though. In she goes. Chop it up, break it up with your spoon. Alright, we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so when it's starting to look like that, we want to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Rather than get out a 1 and then a 1/2 teaspoon, I'm just doing 3/2 teaspoons. Stir that in first. And then we want to add our 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. But I like to mix one thing in at a time. Keep breaking that mince up as well. Alright, our 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. One and 2. Alright, so we're going to basically cook that until it becomes fragrant, which it is fragrant already, so basically just until you've mixed it all in. And then we're going to take this over to the other side of the kitchen and get ready to stuff our capsicum. Alright, that's smelling pretty good. Alright, I'd say we're ready to roll. So, let's go over the other side. Okay, into this, while it's still sizzling a bit, we want to add our rice, arborio or medium grain, our tomatoes, and our parsley. Now, if you are using parsley from the freezer, you're quite fine to have it in the freezer to use it. I generally only buy fresh if I'm not cooking it. So that being in the freezer, it's not going to matter. Whereas with the basil oil, I wanted fresh because I'm using it as a fresh ingredient. Alright, that's smelling pretty good. Alright, grab yourself a big spoon. Let's get stuffing capsicums. Alright. So start with one at a time. Try and get a bit of everything into it. It's good when the saucepan spins around, isn't it? That's a frying pan too. I knew that. Put your lid back on. Apparently having the lid on will keep it from drying out while it's cooking. So there you go. Now I have a feeling that there might be some of this left over, so you could possibly serve it up on the side. So I don't think there'll be much left. Lid goes on. That's one of the leaning ones. And lucky last. Yeah, I think probably the best way around it would be just serve a little bit up on the side. Or get an extra capsicum or two and just make 2 extra ones. That's quite a bit left over there. Alright, anyway, whatever you choose to do with it is your call. Alright, I'm going to carry that out of the way because it is in the way now. Alrighty, we're nearly ready to put them in the oven. So all we need to do before we put them in the oven now, oh, you could have seasoned it with salt and pepper. Bit late to tell you that now. Bit late to tell me that now too. Okay, we're going to drizzle them with that extra tablespoon of vegetable oil that we spoke about in the beginning. So by the looks of it, I'm going to have this ready just in time to sit down to watch MasterChef, which you won't see this episode for a while, but I'm filming this now. MasterChef has been a dream of mine, as you that have been watching the show know. And sadly, last week, just before it was ready to start for the season for 2023, Jock Zonfrillo has passed away, which is very saddening. And the future of MasterChef was a little bit unknown. But they have actually, they are putting it on tonight. It's starting. I don't know what's going to be happening with MasterChef. Hopefully the show will go on. I would like to try out for it next year. Try and put some of the bad stuff behind me. So just wishing all the contestants of MasterChef for this season lots of luck, and I'm just hoping that I do get the honour of going on MasterChef one day. It will be sad without being able to meet Jock, but if I can get into it, it will be great. So I just thought I'd put that in there for today, because today is the day that it's going to air. Yeah, so we're going to start and cook these now. So we just put a cup of water in, and we're going to get some foil, which we're going to lightly grease, which the only way to lightly grease foil is to actually just spray it with cooking spray. With the leftover mince as well, you could possibly just use it to have on top of toast. It's very nice on top of toast if you want an easy meal. Alright, they're going nanites now. So I will see you in an hour. Okay, while that's going on, I'm just going to work on my basil oil. So it is a cup of firmly packed basil leaves. Whatever's left over, I'm going to pop in a Ziploc bag or just a freezer bag, or one of these bags. pop in the freezer, so then if I need it for another use, which I will, then I've got use of it. So first of all, we're going to get our 1 cup of firmly packed basil leaves. And I've decided what I'm going to do with the leftover is put it in the freezer. It'll make a great quick meal on toast. However, you are going to have to cook it through so that your rice is cooked. So it'll work out. I think if I just put some water in with it or something, and cook it as if I'm cooking rice. Anyway, that'll be for another day. So yeah. My suggestion is to grab an extra capsicum or 2 just in case. And then that way you can make an extra couple of capsicums. They should freeze well. Well, I'm going to be freezing 2 of those anyway. So a cup of firmly packed means literally jam them in. And I've got so much left over. I hope one day my basil gets that big. In the kitchen. This is my basil that sits on the windowsill. It's getting pretty tall, but there's no way I was going to get a cup of basil leaves off that, so that's why I'm not using that today. I think I need to get that into a bigger pot, and I've got a lot of dead leaves falling off it as well, so it's hopefully not going to die on me, but who knows, because for some reason that's the only herb that seems to grow on this windowsill. It's so weird. Very, very weird. Okay. So that's our cup of firmly packed basil leaves. We're going to do 1/2 cup of vegetable oil into the food processor, and then that is how we make that basil oil, which we drizzle around the outside. So we'll start that part shortly. The other option is, if you haven't got capsicums, pop it into one of the bags and just write the instructions on the bag, and then that way when you're ready to have that, or you know what you've got to do. So there you go. Okay, so after the hour's up, take them out of the oven and just check and make sure that everything looks okay. The rice looks cooked enough. Leave them standing for 10 minutes with the foil over them, because they're technically continuing cooking while they're covered. And while that's going on, we're going to make that basil oil. So let's go. We need a food processor. Okay, so to make our basil oil, we've got that 1 cup of firmly packed basil leaves that we had a while ago, or that I showed you while I was making them up, and 1/2 cup of vegetable or olive oil, whichever one you prefer. I'm going with the vegetable oil because it's a lot cheaper, and I don't use it as much as I use the olive oil. Alright. Pop your lid on and give it a buzz. Turn it on, of course. So with the basil oil, we basically are just going to drizzle it over the vegetable oil just popped. We're going to drizzle this over the top of the capsicums. So just give it a bit more. Okay, that should do us. So that is what basil oil looks like. There we go. So that just goes over the top. If you haven't already made your salad, now's a good time just to make some salad to go on the side. And when that 10 minutes is up, we will dish up. So our 10 minutes is up. Uncover them. Choose which capsicum you would like. I'll go with a red one tonight. Ow, it's very hot. Grab some tongs. That one's going to have to lie down because that was a lazy one. All right, pop these into something that you can cover over because they're, or put them on your plates, whatever you're going to do. The basil oil I've popped into a jug, which I'm going to drizzle around the plate. All right, they're going to go there. Okay, drizzle a little bit of oil over that. All right. Thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen, lamb and rice stuffed capsicum with basil oil. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time.